Hi everyone, welcome to my project. It's Understanding Autism and Inclusion by Anthony Corona. Now let's get started. Here are my table of contents, my pre-work, my research, my new learning, and my continued inquiry. For my pre-work, I chose this topic to focus on autism and Asperger's, specifically from the perspective of living with it myself. I chose this topic because autism is a part of who I am and how it affects how I communicate, learn, and navigate daily life. I desire to explore autism through sociological lens and my experience. For my research, I explored how autistic individuals through school, work, and community life. I looked at common barriers such as stereotypes and environments that aren't designed for neurodiversity. I also learned about strategies that support inclusion, like clear routines and sensory-friendly spaces. For new learning, in this project, I learned that inclusion isn't just about being present. It requires understanding, patience, and accessible environments. When I interviewed my mom, her perspective helped me recognize how much advocacy and behind-the-scenes support families often have to provide. I understood that inclusion is a daily effort, not a one-time effort. Continuing inquiry, I still have questions about how school, workplaces, and communities can better support autistic individuals. I wonder how we can reduce stereotypes and create a more sensory-friendly environment. Moving forward, I plan to continue learning from autistic advocates and paying attention to what helps me navigate my everyday life. Now for my pre-work. My topic that I chose was autism and Asperger's, specifically looking at it through my own life experiences and the support I receive from my family. I chose because autism is a big part of who I am, and I wanted to understand my experiences on a deeper level. It connects to my personal life, my challenges, my strengths, and the support I receive from my family. I focus on how inclusion affects autistic individuals in school, the community, and daily life. I had many services when I was in high school, and that shaped my educational experience. For my interview, I decided to interview my mom. I chose my mom because she has been the person who understands me the most and has supported me throughout every stage of my life with autism, specifically Asperger's. She knows my challenges, my progress, and the strategies that help me. So her perspective is important and personal. My mom has years of first-hand experience, helping me navigate communication routines, school, and everyday life. She's worked with teachers, supported me through changes, and learned a lot about autism by living it with me every day. These are the resources that I chose. One resource that I chose was What is the Individual Disabilities of Education Act? Idea from understood.org. I use this article because it helped me understand the legal rights of students with disabilities, including autistic students like me. It explains how schools are supposed to help us through many things such as IEPs and accommodations. I also used it because it connects directly to inclusion and shows how important it is for schools to create environments where we can learn and feel understood. It helped me see how my experiences fit into a bigger system that is supposed to protect and support students with disabilities. My second resource that I used was the NPR article, People with Invisible Disabilities Fight for Understanding by NPR. I use this article because autism, especially Asperger's, can be an indivisible disability. This article helped me think how people often misunderstand or overlook disabilities they can't see. It connected strongly to my own experience of being misunderstood and how important awareness and patience are for real inclusion. The third resource that I use is the Universal Design article, The 7 Principles of Universal Design by the Universal Design Living Laboratory. I use this resource because it explains how environments can be designed to support everyone, including autistic individuals. Universal Design connects to my topic by showing practical ways through classrooms, workplaces, and public spaces can be more accessible. It helped me understand that many challenges autistic people face come from design barriers, not from autism itself. Introduction to the Special Issue, Family Support of Persons with Disabilities Across the Life course, is the fourth and final resource that I used. I use this article because it explains how family structure can help someone with a disability, such as people with autism like myself, all throughout the many stages of life. As life goes on, everyone shifts and goes through many changes in life, which could also affect people with disabilities. Now my evidence. Here's my evidence that I chose to interview from my mom through email. Now, new learning. For inclusion in new learning, I learned that inclusion means more than just being in the same room as everyone else. It's about actually feeling understood, supported, and accepted for who I am. As someone with autism, I realize that inclusion happens when people know how my brain works and make space for that, instead of me expecting me to fit into their way of doing things. In this course, we talked a lot about removing barriers and creating environments where everyone can participate. That really connected with me because I've experienced what it's like when places aren't built for people like me. It helped me see that inclusion is something schools and communities need to plan on and for, not something that just magically happens. For equity in new learning, I learned that equity is more about giving people the support they actually need, not treating everybody exactly the same. As someone with autism, I realized that certain tools, routines, and patience help me succeed. I don't need more than others. I just need what actually helps me. And that's what equity is. This course showed me that fairness isn't about identical treatment. It's about recognizing that everyone comes in with different needs and desires. This connected strongly to my life because I finally saw how accommodations and supports aren't something to feel about. They're part of creating a fair learning environment for everyone. And for new learning of access, I learned that access means having real usable opportunities, not just for having something available on paper. For autistic people like myself, access includes things like sensory-friendly spaces, clear communication, and routines that help us stay grounded. This course taught me many barriers that come from environment, not the person's disability. That made me think about how all the times I struggled because things weren't set up for people like me. It helped me understand that improving a key part of creating a world where everyone can participate comfortably. Here now for my continued inquiry. As I worked on this project, I realized there's still a lot of desire to understand about inclusion, equity, and access, especially how they affect people like me with autism and Asperger's. I want to keep learning so I can better advocate for myself and also understand how others create more inclusive environments for others. I'll look for more articles and videos and real-life stories from autistic people who share their experiences. I'll keep exploring course materials and disability rights resources, especially around IDEA and universal design. I'll ask questions and listen to my classmates, instructors, and people with autism during discussions so I can grow. I'll also reflect on my experiences and notice what makes things easier or harder for me in certain spaces. And my plan is to keep learning through practice, real-life experiences, and learning over time. Now, here are my questions for my fellow peers. What helps you feel included in school, work, or your community, and why? Have you ever seen someone with an invisible disability struggle with something others didn't notice? What did you learn from that? What do you think schools and or workplaces could do better to support people with autism and other disabilities? After viewing my presentation, what is the one thing you desired to understand more about autism and Asperger's and or inclusion? And that is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a good night.